Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien. In today's live stream we're going to be talking about altcoins and why some people's altcoins aren't going up while everybody else's altcoins, or they perceive that everybody's altcoins is going up except theirs. We're going to show you the phenomenon as to why that might be the case. We're going to be talking about large market cap coins, mid caps, and small market cap coins, and why there's a trickle down effect going from large cap to middle cap to small cap coins here. Normally we start these live streams by looking at Bitcoin first, and we are looking at Bitcoin. It's trading at $112,800. We'll get into the charts a little bit later on in this stream, and we'll take your requests as well. But I want to do things a little bit different by making things a little bit more educational in this live stream, because I know some people have that burning question as to like why did Kronos go up 100% this week, but my coin didn't go up, and then they get a little bit of FOMO and then they want to get in the Kronos and they end up buying the top of that coin, and then they get burned when the thing drops like 30-40% like the next week. Okay. So let's get into this. Let's try to figure out a better strategy than buying the top and selling the bottoms here. Let's get into it. Let's take a look at a little educational article here. This is coming from Crypto Potato. That's the CryptoPotato.com website, and they have a article here that's very interesting. It's called this was back in 2021 when they said the 2021 altcoin season is only starting. They have this really nice graph on this website here. It shows you basically how altcoin season usually progresses. Okay, it usually starts with altcoin season. Okay, everything starts with Bitcoin. All right, as sad as that might sound, or as great as that might sound for some people, Bitcoin needs to go up first in price. Money needs to go into Bitcoin before it goes into altcoins. Okay, and you'll see here on phase one, it says that money starts to flow and move into Bitcoin, which causes the price to surge. Now, when this happens, that's when a lot of people start getting discouraged, and they say, man, it's just the Bitcoin show. Everything's just Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 100 grand and my altcoin is not doing anything. Okay. However, eventually Bitcoin ends up getting, a little bit ahead of itself, and money starts flowing from Bitcoin into Ethereum. And I think that's what we're starting to see right now here, guys. It's August 28th, 2025, and we've seen Ethereum finally make new all-time highs where it went up to like $44,950 this past Sunday here. Okay. So that's what we're starting to see right now, is we're going from phase one to phase two. And they say here that there's a little bit of a phase overlap in between phase one and phase two, where money flows into Ethereum, but it struggles to keep up with Bitcoin. And then Ethereum goes back and forth with Bitcoin and starts outperforming it. You get a little bit of that, okay? But then, eventually Ethereum starts taking off, which I think we're about to see going into next month, going into the month of September and October. We're going to see Bitcoin really not do much. Maybe Bitcoin does make a new all-time high, but we're going to start seeing Ethereum make new all-time highs, I believe, in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months here. And you'll start seeing Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin. And we're going to start hearing people talk about, oh, can Ethereum flip Bitcoin? Okay? You're going to start hearing talks about the flippening. Okay? And all that means is that some people are thinking that, is it possible for Ethereum to have more money inside of it than Bitcoin? And just to give you an idea, is like how much money is in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's take a look at this website called coinmarketcap.com. Okay, this is going to be a good website for us to reference. We're going to go back and forth between this website and that chart that I just showed you. In this website, it gives us the total market cap of all these cryptocurrencies. Right now, Bitcoin has $2.2 trillion in it. Trillions. There's trillions of dollars in Bitcoin right now. And then Ethereum only has 545 billion, or about $500 billion. Okay. And then you got other cryptos behind that, like XRP, that has like $178 billion. Tether is still a crypto, but it's a stable coin, but it has $167 billion. It's the biggest stable coin out there. Then you got BNB, which is a cryptocurrency exchange. That one has $121 billion in it. And then you got like Solana, which you might have heard about, has $114 billion. But going back to flipping, you know, once money starts pouring into Ethereum, if Ethereum doubles in price, we're going to start seeing Ethereum have $1 trillion. And then some people are going to be talking about Ethereum being able to flip Bitcoin, which I don't think is going to happen. But you're going to start hearing rumors about it, like, oh my god, Ethereum's at $10,000. It's at $1 trillion, the market cap. Can it, you know, if it doubles again, it'll probably catch up the Bitcoin and flip it. You'll start hearing that. And when you start hearing that, that's when you'll start seeing money start leaving Ethereum and going into the large caps. Because some people are going to be like, well, if Ethereum could possibly do it and flip Bitcoin, can some of these other coins like XRP or Solana do it? And then you're going to start seeing money flowing out of Ethereum and going into large caps like Solana, like XRP, like BNB, okay? We'll get into the definitions of what a large cap and what a mid cap and a small cap cryptocurrency is. I have an article from Coinbase that helps explain that a little bit better, or at least gives you the numbers to look for. But anyways, you know, eventually what's going to end up happening is some smart money is going to start leaving Ethereum, which they've already left Bitcoin. The smart money is going from Bitcoin into Ethereum right now. Okay, eventually when we start seeing Ethereum double in price and they make their money doubling up in Ethereum, they're going to start seeing if there's other coins out there that can also double or triple their, you know, their money in these cryptos. So you'll start seeing money leaving from Ethereum going into XRP, Solana, and BNB. Okay, and it will start trickling into the large caps. And then the large caps, you'll see here that you know, Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin, and the large caps are going to go parabolic. You know, you'll probably see Solana maybe go up to like $400, $500. You'll probably see XRP go up to like $6 or $10 maybe. And then that move starts to become a little bit overcooked and overdone. And then you'll start seeing money going from the large caps into the other altcoins, any altcoin for that matter. There'll be a little bit of a phase overlap. Regardless of market cap, some altcoins with strong fundamentals are just going to pump up. Whether Ethereum, Solana, or Bitcoin is doing it, they're going to pump up regardless. And that's why you see like Kronos is pumping right now, because it has some good fundamentals. It's tied to a cryptocurrency exchange. And you're also seeing Donald Trump get involved with Kronos. And yeah, that's going to cause, you know, Kronos to pump up. Okay. But you'll start seeing eventually in phase 4 of the alt season, you'll start seeing every cryptocurrency is going to start pumping. And that's the alt season that we all been waiting for, right? When every single cryptocurrency goes up, you can throw darts on a wall and boom, you're up 10x, right? That's the season that we're all waiting for, which I think is going to happen later on in 2025 here, going into maybe 2026. And that is why I wanted to bring up this chart here, okay? Because I wanted you guys to understand that if your coin's not going to go up, you just got to give it some time here. The first ones to go up are going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then the next ones are going to be Solana, XRP, BNB, maybe Sui, you know, Avalanche, AVAX, those kind of coins that are in the top 30 on cryptomarketcap.com. And then you'll start seeing money flowing into these smaller coins and the meme coins as well. Meme coins are going to go crazy. There'll be a meme coin that goes up 100x and makes someone, you know, a millionaire or a billionaire, and you'll start hearing stories about that on the news, okay? I think that's going to happen later on in like November, December of this year. Just like it was kind of happening last year, but it, you know, last year we wasn't as strong as it could have been. And maybe this year is going to be the one that's the strongest of them all. Okay? But anyways, that's what I want to show you guys here. Now, if you guys want to know like what the hell you mean, Damien, by like large cap, mid cap, small cap cryptocurrencies. Well, first of all, let me just explain to you what is a market cap. Okay, market cap is how much money is in the coin, and it's a very easy formula. Okay, you just take how many cryptocurrencies, how many coins are in the cryptocurrency, and you just multiply it by how much that cryptocurrency is worth. So in this example here, if cryptocurrency A has 400,000 coins in circulation and it's worth $1, then its market cap is only 400 grand. Okay, that's just a quick, easy example. Okay, now coins like Bitcoin, Bitcoin has like, over 21 million Bitcoins out there. They're not all in circulation, but most of them are, for the most part. And then every Bitcoin is worth 100 grand. That's why you see Bitcoin at $2 trillion. And Bitcoin is a large cap cryptocurrency, just like Ethereum and XRP and Solana. Now the mid caps, right? When you hear about mid cap cryptocurrencies, that's according to Coinbase definition. A mid cap is going to be anywhere between like a $1 billion and $10 billion. I want to raise the bar up a little bit. I would say mid cap. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The large cap coins, right? The large cap coins, I would actually say large cap is anywhere between 5 billion and more, okay? And mid cap is going to be anywhere between 1 and 5 billion. But according to Coinbase, mid cap is 1 and 10 billion. But I think mid cap is between 1 and 5 billion, in my opinion, okay? Anyways, moving on forward to small caps. Small caps are going to be anything less than $1 billion in market cap, okay? So you take your coin, you multiply that, how many coins are in there by the price of the coin, and then you get your market cap, and that's going to show you whether or not you're a small cap, mid cap, or a large cap here. Okay, so this is an article that came from Coinbase. You guys might want to check that out. It's just basically, I mean, you can Google search this and say what is a market cap of cryptocurrencies, and then this Coinbase article is a good explanation for it. Okay. But going into the cryptocurrencies that we know and love, right? And what is a large cap and what is a mid cap, what is a small cap? Like I said, my definition, okay, a little bit different in Coinbase, but my definition, large cap is 5 billion or more. So, with Bitcoin having 2.2 trillion, that definitely qualifies as large cap, okay? Ethereum is also a large cap. XRP is a large cap. BNB, Solana, even Dogecoin is a large cap cryptocurrency because, an investor can take $1 billion. If there's $1 billion investor, he can put that money into Dogecoin and still not make that. It'll be a big splash if he puts it all in at once, but you can actually put $1 billion into Dogecoin and actually not own all the Dogecoin that's out there. Okay. So Dogecoin is also a large cap. Tron, Cardano, and some of these coins you're probably already familiar with. Chainlink, large cap. Hyperliquid is a large cap. Athena and Sui, Stellar Lumens, Bitcoin Cash. These are all large cap. Basically, all the top 30 cryptocurrencies on CoinMarketCap are large cap coins. Okay, and these are coins that are gonna get the love first because there are big money investors. If they're gonna put $1 billion or $500 million into a coin, they can't do that with a small coin. Let's see, we'll go to a small coin here. Maybe one that has like Jasmy coin here. If there was an investor that put $700 million into Jasmy, they would basically buy up all of Jasmy. And Jasmy's at $0.015, but what will happen is if someone saw that there's a big investor putting $700 million into Jasmy, they're going to start bidding up the price of Jasmy. Jasmy will probably double, triple, quadruple before that person even buys up all the Jasmy that they're trying to buy with $700 million purchase of that coin. So the big investors, if they have like a $500 million or $1 billion to be putting into crypto, they're not going to put in the Jasmy. They're going to be putting it into Bitcoin, right? With $2.2 trillion. It can absorb all that liquidity. Same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum could absorb all that liquidity. It has $545 billion to play around with. Same thing with Ripple. That's why you see these coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and Solana are going up first before the other coins do. But the other coins will get their day in the sun too, because what will happen is some of these Bitcoin and Ethereum whales and XRP whales, they'll start taking some of their money out of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they'll start putting it into like Solana or Chainlink, Hyperliquid, Sui, okay? They're going to start working their way down the list here, Avalanche, HBAR, and then they're going to work their way down even further, past the top 30 coins here, and they'll start putting it into Pepe, as the, hey, why not, put it into a meme coin, Maybe put it into bit sensor, some of these AI cryptocurrencies like Near Protocol. Okay, they'll even try to throw their hat in the ring on Aptos. Okay, Ondo, and they'll just work their way down the list, you know. And they're gonna start with like the coins that have the most money in them, because if they got a lot of money to work with, they're gonna try to work their way down the list here with the coins that can absorb that kind of liquidity. Okay, Render's another one, Pudgy Penguins. I think these are all good coins that are gonna eventually have their day in the sun here. Okay, and they kind of have been running up. It hasn't been all, you know, all these coins are not dead coins. There's a reason why they're in the top 100, top 50 coins here. But they're gonna have their day in the sun. You just got to wait a little bit longer for, you know, money to start pouring into cryptocurrency, and it's gonna flow down from Bitcoin into Ethereum and then into the larger cap coins here. It's kind of like, you know, if you guys can imagine like wine glass pyramid, okay, and you pour like the bottle of champagne on top of the top glass, and then it goes into the glasses below it, and then the glasses below it, and the glasses below it, and you just keep pouring that champagne bottle. Well, the champagne bottle is, you know, all the money around the world. Anybody that's interested in cryptocurrency is going to start putting their money into crypto, but the money's going to first go into Bitcoin, which is going to be the top glass, and then the glass below that is going to be Ethereum, Solana, and XRP, and then the glasses below that are going to be like Avalanche, Sui, and, you know, bit sensor, Render, and all the other ones. Okay, so money's going to start filling up Bitcoin first, which it already kind of did, and now it's flowing into Ethereum, which is kind of already overflowing as is, and then it's going to start going into like Solana. Like Solana's having a good week right now. Okay, let's see, Solana is up 17% this week. Okay, so Solana's starting to catch some of that money that's going into a cryptocurrency world right now, and you'll start seeing that flowing down to some of these other cryptocurrencies. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to, you know, bring that to your attention here, that, you know, if your coin isn't going up, just give it a second. Don't try to FOMO and get into like Kronos at the top here at 37 cents. We're going to look at Kronos again, because it has been going up. We'll also look at some other ones like Pith, okay? Like the coins that actually did pretty well this past week. I mean, the last 7 days here, you see Kronos up 129% at 32 cents, and then you see Pith Network here up 61% the last week, and Radium and Jetto, and even Solana has made it in the top 5 coins here. That is up, you know, double-digit percentage in the last 7 days here. So yeah, I wouldn't really FOMO into these coins here, because you might get burned going into next week. You know, if these coins start selling off and correcting, then you'll be like, oh damn, why did I do that? Anyways, let me catch up on the chat here, see what you guys have to say. I see Josh Shareem is in the YouTube chat, and BC Pork Corp. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. And then let's see. I think I have a request here for Fartcoin. We'll take a look at Fartcoin. Why not? I do want to look at Kronos and Pith, because they actually did pretty well, and I want to show you guys why it might not be a good idea to FOMO right now into them. Okay, but we're gonna take a look at those two coins first, and then we'll take a look at I guess we'll take a look at Fartcoin. Why not? Okay, and then let's see, do I have any other requests here? Most of my coins have 2 to 3x. Kami says most of his coins have 2 to 3x. Well, that's good, Kami. I think that's because you're a pretty good investor that does their due diligence, and that's why you should be rewarded by doubling and tripling your money here. But yeah, I think there's going to be some more coins that'll be able to double and triple in the future here, in the near future actually, in the next couple of weeks, couple of months here. And yeah, Kronos was one of them. So let's take a look at Kronos. Kronos had a good bit of news here. Donald Trump got invested with Kronos. Kronos is a coin that's affiliated with Crypto.com, which is a cryptocurrency exchange. So they have a business tied behind them. Makes sense why they're able to make money, and why they're able to get money because of that. I think there was an agreement that said that Donald Trump was going to buy some Kronos coin if Crypto.com would buy some Trump media stock. So they had like a little bit of deal going on there. But anyways, let's get into a Kronos here. It's a little bit of backstory behind Kronos. Kronos is currently trading at 32 cents, up 23% in the last 24 hours here, up 6 cents. And you can see that Kronos already had like kind of like a blow top here. It got as high as like 39 cents here. Okay. Kronos is way above all the moving averages here, and I can get rid of these red lines here because we already hit the take profit targets. If you're betting Kronos and you haven't hit the sell button, I would suggest that you sell something because this thing could come down just as fast as it went up. Okay. You don't have any moving average support below you until you come to the 21 EMA, which is this white line at 16-17 cents. Okay, 16-17 cents is an area that could hold that support because you had a top here in August at like 17 cents. So, you know, for those who are buying Kronos right now at 32 cents, you could lose. Okay, and I'm going to give you the bearish case first. You could lose about 50% of your money if Kronos comes back to or like anywhere between like 47 to like 50% of your money if Kronos comes back to the moving average supports here. Okay, that's why I think it's a little bit dangerous to get into Kronos right now. Okay, because you don't have that much support. Anybody that bought, you know, here yesterday or the day before that, if they see their money go back to break even, or if they see their money start losing money, they're going to get out of that just as fast as they got into it. Okay, so that is something that we need to take into consideration here with Kronos. Okay, also looking at the RSI here for Kronos, RSI is overbought at 89. That is very overbought in my opinion. Anything above 70 is considered overbought. 89 or 90 is just even worse. Okay, for overbought levels here. You're playing with fire if you think this thing is going to go to higher prices. Okay, not saying that it can't go to higher prices, but it's less likely to. Okay, we haven't seen a red dot show up on market cipher B here for Kronos, but I'm expecting that to eventually come in. And when you see that red dot come in, for damn sure you better not be trying to buy Kronos thinking that it's going to go to higher prices, because usually when you get a red dot, you get a lot of money flowing out, and you're going to have a few bad days coming up where you could lose some money. Last time we had a red dot here for Kronos was August 14th. We lost 8% that day. Then we had another red day after that, another red day. You know, if I just zoom in on the chart here, you can see that August 14th was the red day, the red dot here on market cipher B, and you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red daily candles. It was a bad week. It was a bad week after August 14th. Yeah, then eventually you started getting some green candles showing up here, and then you got the green dot that says like, hey, you should have been buying Kronos on August 23rd, and had you done that, you would have been handsomely rewarded just using market cipher B here as an indicator. Okay, but yeah, when that red dot shows up again on market cipher B for Kronos, I would say for damn sure you need to get out of there before you get hurt. Okay, unless you're trying to short it, then you might be able to make some money on the way down here. Okay, anyways, going back to Kronos here, I mean, we don't have much to work with here on Fibonacci. I have to redraw the Fibonacci now because this is like now old information. What we can do now here is we can just measure from the swing high at 39 cents down to where we started this impulse move at like 15 cents. And if we get a retracement, it's going to take us down to 30 cents is the 618 Fibonacci retracement level. That's a normal pullback, and we kind of already got that already. So we probably already had the normal pullback for Kronos. But if Kronos decides to do a steeper pullback, and if Bitcoin decides to go down to lower prices, then we could get a steeper retracement where we might see 27 cents or even 24 cents come into play here. Those are some Fibonacci levels to look for on Kronos. And then we also have a 0.236 at 21 cents. Now, if you still want to get involved with Kronos, right, and you're just waiting for a pullback, these are levels for you to look for. You could be buying at 21 cents or 24 cents, might be better areas than buying right now at 32 cents. Okay. However, if Kronos is going to remain bullish, and this is as big of a pullback as we're going to get. And if Bitcoin starts going up to higher prices, making new all-time highs, then this might be all you get for a pullback. And then Cronos could possibly get back up to 34 cents, which is not too far from where it is right now, but also 39 cents. And then eventually, maybe later on in 2025, you'll start seeing Cronos do something like this, where we get up to 45 cents, which is your 1272 fib extension level, or the 1618 at 53 cents. Okay. All right. I see we got some more requests here. We got requests for Ethereum. Yep, we'll take a look at Ethereum. We got we'll take a look at Ethereum after Fartcoin here. And we're gonna take a look at Tau. Yep, we'll take a look at Tau for you. And then we got a request for Popcat. My TikTok guys are keeping me busy over here with the requests. My YouTube guy, Alan Van Rensburg, wants to look at Say and Cardano. Okay. So we'll look at Say and Cardano. And we'll just keep them coming, right? Guys, don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already, if you appreciate this analysis that I got on these cryptocurrencies. All right. Let's go ahead and let's move on to Pyth Network. Okay. So Pyth is another cryptocurrency that has done pretty well this past week. So we're gonna take a look at it, and then we'll look at some of the other requests here. But yeah, wow, look at that, huh? 61% in one day. This is going to cause some people to FOMO, but it could also cause some people to get hurt. You do not want to buy the top of a green candle, okay? You want to be buying red candles here, okay? Right now, you're in a big, giant green candle here. Not the time to be buying, okay? In my opinion, not financial advice, but I see a lot of people get hurt when they buy the top of a green candle. And then I see people get hurt when they sell the bottom of a red candle, okay? Like, imagine a person that sold here on Pyth, only for them to see Pyth go up, you know, a couple of days later and shoot up like 60%. That hurts, okay? Especially if they sold all their Pyth, okay? Alright. And it's going to hurt equally for anybody that bought the top of this green candle, and then, you know, Pyth ends up coming down back to like where we started at like 12 cents here. Hopefully Pyth is able to sustain itself, but as I start to zoom out here, let's see if what Pyth has done in the previous. We have seen Pyth get as high back here in May as 21 cents. I think we got up to like almost 21 cents here today. Yeah, about 20.5 cents here. But what I can do now is I can also do a Fibonacci, and I can figure out what are some better levels to be buying Pyth Network, okay? Measuring from, yeah, we'll measure from here, okay? So Pyth Network might have to come down a little bit lower, unless it's going to remain overly bullish. We might see Pyth come down to the 618 at 16 pennies here. This is your golden pocket level between 16 and 17 pennies. We're not too far off from that, okay? But that would be a normal pullback, a normal correction. If it's going to be a steeper correction or more violent correction, then we could see it come down to the 0.5 level here at 15 pennies, or the 0.32 at 14.5 pennies, or the 0.236 level at 13 pennies. And I don't really have any moving averages here. There is no moving average support except for like the 100-day at 0.127 pennies. This blue number here, 0.1275 pennies, which is confluent with probably where the 0.236 level is at. You might be lucky enough to buy some cheaper Pyth Network at 13 pennies. I would probably put a buy limit order, see if you get filled, right? Because if this move is not sustainable and we come down just as fast as we went up, okay, you might be lucky enough to buy Pyth at 13 cents here instead of 18 cents. However, you know, you can layer in your bets. You could put some bets here, like you want to buy some Pyth Network at 15 pennies and buy some at 14 pennies and then buy even more at 13 pennies if you can. That's one way to get into this crypto after it made a big, you know, solid, you know, candle, green god candle here, you know, today, up 62%. If Pyth Network does decide to go up to higher prices, though, we could see a little bit of resistance at 22 cents, 23 cents. That's your 1272. And then you got the 1618 saying that this thing could possibly get up to like 26 cents, maybe later on in 2025. But I'm going to leave this here on the chart. This is now going to be the Fibonacci analysis for Pith. And we'll just see how Pith handles itself working through the levels here. Alright, moving on from Pith, we're going to take a look at Altcoin, and then Ethereum is next. Let's see what Altcoin is doing. Altcoin, USDT. Altcoin currently trading at 83 cents, almost 84 cents, up 3.86% today. And I do have some previous Fibonacci analysis to look at here. What I basically did was I measured from the top here at $1.69, which we saw Altcoin at on July 23rd, and I measured that from the swing low here, where we came down as low as like 79 cents here on Altcoin. And we have some levels to work with using the Fibonacci here. But you can see that Altcoin actually, man, it's been making lower highs, and lower lows here. And we came right back down to where we started off at back here in July, right? When we were at like 80 cents, 79 cents. We actually came a little bit lower than that. We came down to 75 cents on Monday. So that's not, that's no bueno. You actually make a lower low compared to what you did back here in July. However, I think it might have been higher than the low here in April 18th. So, okay, still higher low. Sad to see that you actually went lower than July. Back lower than you did in July and June, but hey, you know, still a higher low, right? Anyways, if Altcoin is able to pull itself together and not make any more lower lows anymore, then there could be some resistance here at the 0.236 level, and I have to zoom in a little bit. There you go. That the number is $1. About $1 should be some resistance. That's a psychological level for Altcoin. It's also a level where we have some candle wick and candle body closes around that level. So $1, it just makes sense that some people will click the sell button and maybe get a rejection off that level. And if you do get rejected, you would think like maybe the 200-day moving average at 90 cents could provide some support here. Okay. 200-day moving average at 90 cents. That could also be a area where we get rejected off of Altcoin, and Altcoin is going to be bearish, overly bearish here. So be on the lookout for 90 cents and $1 as you try to climb up to higher prices for Altcoin. And if Altcoin is able to climb up to higher prices than that, then there could be some more resistance where I see the 50-day moving average is sitting at $1.13. That's kind of confluent with the 0.32 retracement level here at $1.14. Okay. But I would expect a normal retracement. If this is the low and we're trying to go up to higher prices for Altcoin, I would expect Altcoin to eventually make it back up to the 618 at $1.35. And if Altcoin is able to do that, going from where we are right now to the 618, you're looking at a 62% gain on Altcoin. And if that's not enough for you, you could slap on some 10x leverage and make that 620% gain. Okay. But yeah, that's what we got here for Altcoin. Upside, downside targets. Downside target, don't lose 80 cents, please, because if you do, you don't really have that much support below you until you get down to maybe 45 cents, and that's like a 50% haircut from where you are right now. You don't want to do that. All right, moving on from Altcoin, we'll take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum currently trading at $4,519, up slightly today, only up 13 bucks for a $4,000 coin. That's like nothing. Ethereum, you know, is still maintaining this 21 EMA. This white line is your 21 exponential moving average, and I extended this line as if we were to continue this trend here. I think you'll see a $5,000 Ethereum. Looks like it's saying Saturday, September 13th, like the middle of September. I'm expecting Ethereum to at the very least be at $5,000 if we're going to maintain this uptrend. Now, if we don't maintain this uptrend and we start losing this uptrend and start going down, then yeah, we're not going to see $5,000 Ethereum in the middle of September. Okay. However, we could also get very bullish here on Ethereum and get up to $5,000 before the middle of September. I just had this line as an idea. Is like at the very latest, we could expect Ethereum, if it just maintains this uptrend and doesn't lose this uptrend here, we could see a $5,000 Ethereum by the middle of September is what I'm seeing here. Okay, I know some people want to know when $5,000. We almost had that here on Sunday. We got Ethereum at 4,955, and that was a new all-time high, and there was a lot of excitement and talk about Ethereum this weekend. And then of course we lost that here on Monday, right? Where Ethereum went down $400. Okay, got it. All right. Ethereum wasn't able to sustain the move up to $5,000 yet. However, if Ethereum is able to sustain the move up to $5,000, we do have a 1618 that I've used from previous Fibonacci analysis that says that we could see a $5,800 Ethereum maybe later on in the future. Maybe Ethereum doesn't quite get to $6,000 because some people want to front run it and sell it before it hits 6,000. But yeah, I think 5,800 could be a magic number where we just get a rejection off of Ethereum once we get up to that level there. And then we do have a 2618 that says that Ethereum could get up to like $8,500. I think that's going to be later on in 2025. Could possibly be 2026. Okay, depending upon what Ethereum decides to do here. But yeah, let's I'm gonna go ahead and just show you here, guys. If Ethereum was to lose this trend here, okay, that it's in, it might revisit the lows back here on August 19th, where I think you could get some good deals here on Ethereum, scooping it up at like $4,000, anywhere between $4,000 and $4,200. Seems to be a good area to buy Ethereum. But if you lose $4,000 Ethereum, then you're starting to make lower lows, and you're not making higher lows anymore, and you could end up coming down here to like $3,800 or even $3,400. And yeah, that would not be good for Ethereum to get down to that level there, because you're going to lose about 25% of your money in Ethereum. However, we do have some support below us. If Ethereum does decide to go to lower prices, we have the 50-day movement average could act as support at $3,200. Okay, those are some downside targets for Ethereum. I'm not sure why Ethereum would go down to that level. It would hurt a lot of people if it did, but you do have some support at that area at $3,200 Ethereum. So those are your downside targets for Ethereum and upside targets. Let's move on to Tau. Or bit sensor, right? Oh yeah, that's right. I like using the Binance exchange chart for this one. It's got more data. All right. Popcat's gonna come right after bit sensor here. We're about to do Popcat soon here. All right. Okay. Alright, so here we are. We're looking at Tau, because it came in as a request before Popcat. We'll do Popcat after this one. And what I've seen with Tau is we're making lower highs here. However, we're making higher lows. And you got yourself pretty much like a symmetrical triangle that you're forming right now. And Tau, if it's just going to continue this market structure that it's in right now, you probably might see a high at some point, higher prices, but it might end up being a lower high compared to what you had here July 23rd here. Okay. However, right now you could be buying the lows in this symmetrical triangle here, and you can just ride this thing up to higher prices. I think $420. We'll see how Tau does when it gets to 420. It would be nice to see if it starts making higher highs instead of lower highs. The last high that you got to beat is $461 here. Get above 461, and then you can make the case that you're making an uptrend on Tau instead of doing this downtrend stuff here in a symmetrical triangle. I also want to see Tau get above this 200-day moving average, sitting at 348. Anytime you're below the 200-day moving average, in my opinion, you have to be bearish instead of bullish. You're not too far away from it. You just got to go up another $17, and then you could consider yourself to be cautiously optimistic and slightly bullish on Tau. Okay, let's get above that 200-day moving average, and I'll be more excited and bullish about Tau here. Okay, but yeah, I don't see why this can't be a bad area to buy right now. And then you put a stop loss right below the lows here on Monday, where this thing got as low as 317 bucks, and I think you'll be fine. Okay, if not, you get stopped out for a small loss, and then you just gotta see how much lower this crypto is gonna go. Okay, but I think Tau, you could be buying the higher low here, and then hopefully you're able to take this up to like 420 bucks before you guys then wonder, is it going to be able to push up to like 460 or higher. All right, moving on from Tau, let's go ahead and take a look at PopCat. Ugh. PopCat, one of those meme coins that saw its best days in November and December of last year. We saw a PopCat trading as high as like $1.95 and almost, I think, $2. Yeah, it get up to like $2 on November 17th here. And then ever since then, it's just been losing money for anybody that's been involved in PopCat. You didn't really bottom out until like April 9th here, where we saw PopCat get as low as like 11 cents here. So I can do a Fibonacci on that, you know, measuring from the high here. We got as high as, how high did we get? In May, we got as high as like 64 cents. So I'll put that as the high water mark here to the low at 11 cents. And you got a Fibonacci to work with here. And what do we got here? I see some moving averages above you. Okay, so PopCat is, in my opinion, bearish because you're below the 200-day moving average. That 200-day moving average is sitting at 31 cents, and that's confluent with this 0.32 retracement. I think that's going to be your resistance. If you start going up to higher prices here, you'll start seeing PopCat probably get rejected off of the 31 cent, 32 cent level. You got some more moving averages above you at like 34 cents. That could act as resistance, that 50-day moving average. So between 31 and 34 cents, it's going to be a tough area for PopCat to get above because of the moving averages. But if you get above that, then you would expect maybe PopCat could get back to that 618 retracement. And if it does that, you know, then you're looking at like PopCat getting you basically about a 70% gain. Slap on 10x leverage and you got a 700% gain. Okay. And right now you just strategically place your stop loss below the candlewick low here on Monday when we got as low as like 24.5 cents here. I probably put the stop loss at like 23 or 24 cents. And if you lose 23, 24 cents, then there's something wrong with PopCat, and you don't want to stick around for that because you could see PopCat go from 24 cents all the way down to the lows here in April when we saw PopCat at 11 and 12 cents. So do you really want to stick around for that? Because that's about a 50% drop from where we are right now. I don't think you want to do that. So I would put the stop loss tight here at like 23 cents and hope that it never hits. And then maybe you might be catching this move up to the upside where you could possibly see PopCat get up to like 44, 45 cents here. I see Steve Hickey's in the chat here, and I see Josh Areem. Josh Areem, didn't you ask about Webull yesterday? There's got to be like another stock out there that you want to look at. Is that the only stock that you want to take a look at? We could take a look at Webull. But I don't know if much has changed since yesterday, because we looked at it yesterday. I'm pretty damn sure we did. All right. Let's see. I see Steve is in there saying, "Hey Damien, how I'm doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm gonna go for a bike ride after this live stream. Hopefully, I'll feel better after that. Get some endorphins and some all that good stuff. Get the blood pumping and all that. Let's see." Richard said Pith Network. We actually did look at Pith Network earlier in the live stream. Richard, you came a little bit late. We looked at it like one of the first two cryptocurrencies that we looked at. But I'll give you a quick summary analysis here on Pith. Did I do it on Binance Exchange? Yeah. All right. So I didn't really draw out. My previous chart work is not on this thing, but if I do a quick Fibonacci on Pith here, okay, I think you could see Pith, you know, the normal retracement is that Pith could come down to like 16 cents here, which is where your 618. And if it does a deeper pullback, it could come down to 15 or 14 cents. But most likely, your best bet, if it does a deep retracement, you could get lucky enough to buy it at 13 cents here. Okay, and that's like kind of confluent with the 200-day moving average is at 14 cents. So anywhere between 13 and 14 cents might be a good area to be buying Pith Network. And if Pith Network does become bullish for whatever reason, you got a 1618 that says this thing could get up to like 26 cents. Okay. All right. We already looked at Pith, and then we looked at it for the second time. Let's move on to Say and then Cardano. And we got Say Network currently trading at 29 pennies, almost 30 pennies here. I don't have previous network chart work here, so I guess I haven't had anybody request this crypto, at least not recently. But yeah, Say lower high. Could this possibly be another lower high? You're in a downtrend. Let me just draw that out here if I can. So you got this downtrend that could act as resistance going forward, but you're getting close to possibly breaking out of this downtrend. However, if you get rejected off of this again, you could come back down to these moving average support at like 24 cents before you try to make a higher low to go to higher prices here. Would be nice if we can just break out of this downtrend on Say. Well, it'd also be nicer if we could get above the previous high here at 39 cents back here in July. If you could do that, then you could say that you're in an uptrend and you're making higher lows and higher highs here. But getting rejected right over here, that downtrend did act as resistance. Okay, this is a downtrend that you've been in ever since March of 2024. Yeah. But I'll quickly do a Fibonacci for you. Measure from top to bottom here. If Say Network was able to get its act into gear and go to higher prices, you do have a 1272 that says this thing could get up to like 45 cents, and a 1618 that says you could also get up to like 53 cents for some upside targets here. I think downside targets, you're still looking at the 200-day moving average sitting at 24 cents, and that's confluent with the 0.382 retracement here. And I think that's your upside downside targets for Say. Let's move on to Cardano. All right, Cardano currently trading at 85 cents. We do have previous chart work on this crypto here. Some of the best days for Cardano, I guess you could say, was like December of 2024. We saw this thing as high as like $1.32. I have a Fibonacci that I still think is useful here for Cardano, measuring from like 53 cents up to the $1.04 level that it got up to here in July. Okay, was it July? No, it was a little bit higher. No, we went up to a 93 cents. I'm sorry, 93 cents here on July. So this Fibonacci is showing us that yeah, Cardano, if it is going to be bullish here, we could see Cardano get to a $1.04 or even a $1.18. That's your 1272 and your 1618 fib extension level here. Right now we're just contending up against this 786 retracement, this blue level here at 85 cents. We're trying to see if we can flip this to support and then get a bounce to higher prices and get back up to 93 cents here for Cardano. Okay, your moving average supports are below you. 200-day at 72 cents, 50-day at 73 cents. That could be an area where you could get some cheaper Cardano and get a lot of support. That is a very good area to be targeting if you're trying to get some cheaper Cardano. Cardano could come down to 72 cents, 73 cents, and you could be getting yourself a good deal, in my opinion. Okay. Don't lose those moving average supports because it could get worse for you for Cardano. You could come down to obviously the lower prices. Maybe you'll stop at the 0.236 level here at 63 cents. But yeah, I think those are your downside targets. I think Cardano's doing quite fine here. Stay above the moving averages here, please. For some reason, you do have the 618 could act as a support at 78-79 cents here. But I think if you're using this as support at 85 cents, I think Cardano's ready to go up to $1. Maybe that might happen in September, October here. All right. I guess we'll take a look at Webull after this one. And then let's see, we have Lloyd in the chat saying, Damien, you get distribution from Misty and you're thinking crypto to the end of the year is better to put dividends rather than reinvest into Misty. What's your call? We'll have to take a look at Misty. I'm not even familiar with that one. Is that a crypto or a stock? We'll take it. Well, I'll be able to find it. If it's on TradingView, I'll be able to find it. But just out of curiosity, you said Misty pays dividends. If it pays dividends, it might be worth getting into Misty. Dean Harney, are you saying concentric as a request? Concentric. And is that one a crypto or a stock? Yeah, you'll have to let me know. Kami says he has a short on Ethereum at $4,600. Ooh. Kami, were you the one that was trying to short Kronos yesterday? Somebody was trying to short Kronos, and I was like, I would put the stop loss at break even because there's still potential for Kronos to go to higher prices, and that's literally what it did last night. Anyways, let's see what else we have for requests here. I think that's it for now. Let's take a look at Webull, and then we'll look at Misty and Concentric. So Webull is a stock that trades on the NASDAQ, currently trading at $14.54. I have done previous chart work. I'm pretty sure we talked about this yesterday. But yeah, Webull is making lower highs here, as well as making higher lows, and it's in this symmetrical triangle here. If I just hide this for a second, let me see if I can hide that. You can see that we're in the symmetrical triangle for Webull, okay? We should get some resolution sometime by the middle of September, probably when the Federal Reserve makes a decision about lowering interest rates. We could see Webull make a violent move out of this symmetrical triangle that it's in right now. But right now, Webull is actually starting to lose the uptrend here that it's been in. Not good, not good, no bueno. Could mean that Webull wants to go to lower prices here. And if Webull does want to go to low prices, what do we got here for Webull? We got the 0.236 at $13.61. This level right here, this red level, could act as support. But I don't really have any moving averages to work off of for Webull. There is a 50-day moving average that's starting to come into play here, but that's sitting at above us at $14.94. I'm not sure how useful that is. I wouldn't really say it's useful, but we do have the 21 EMA. 21 EMA is also above us at $14.92. Seems like $14.90 is going to be a resistance level for some reason, just looking at the moving averages. The 21 EMA and the 50 moving average are at that level. Okay. So, and that's confluent kind of like with the 0.5 retracing. So I think $15 is going to be a tough nut to crack for Webull to get up to higher prices here. But if it does, then, you know, there could be more resistance at 16 bucks. That's your 618 Fibonacci number there. And for some reason, $17 did act as resistance here. And it acted as resistance back here on Monday, August 18th. That's another resistance level or possibly a take profit target if you're in it for the short term. And then eventually you want to see if Weibo can get back above to like $18.30 here. Yeah. Yep. So those are your downside targets. Downside targets, you could come down to $13.60 here. Upside target, it's going to get hard to get past 15 bucks, but if you get past 15, then 16 and 17 are your next targets. That's pretty much it. It's going to be pretty like kind of like weak sauce in my opinion until something happens here in the middle of September when you get towards the end of the symmetrical triangle. You have to figure out what are you going to do here. Are we going to go up or down? Or are we just going to continue going sideways? Let's see. Lloyd's here talking about distribution here. I think you're talking about Misty still. Yeah, let's take a look at Misty right now. A micro strategy income ETF. Okay. That's interesting. I guess I'll just click this one, see what it's at. So I guess this is a play off of MicroStrategy, and they figured out a way to make dividends off of it. It says Misty aims to generate monthly income while providing exposure to the price returns of MicroStrategy, subject to a cap on potential gains. The fund utilizes call option strategies via a exchange traded in flex options. All that nonsense, okay, whatever. But I apparently they're able to do dividends while tracking the price of MicroStrategy. And yeah, I don't know. Looks like this thing's seen some of its best days in November of last year when MicroStrategy was also doing pretty well back then. I guess we have to look at MicroStrategy stock as well after this. But this thing, making lower lows and lower highs. You're in a downtrend. Okay, lower highs here. However, you're kind of making these lower lows here as well. You're in like a descending channel, not even like a descending triangle or a falling wedge. I mean, I guess you could redraw this and say this is the falling wedge now. Maybe, if you want to use those points there. Falling wedges are bullish. However, if this is a descending channel, then that's bearish. Because that means you're just going to keep going down. You might go up, only for then to go down and make a lower lows again. I don't like this thing. There's a potential for it to go up. Like any other asset. But this is a very violent downtrend, and this could actually be a descending channel on the technicals here. I want to see if this touches this point here, bounces off, and then I want to see if it gets rejected off of here, and then yeah, you could call this a descending channel, but I'm not sure. I'm confused. I'm not sure if this is going to be a falling wedge or a descending channel here. It could be either or. For now, yeah. I mean, if it starts breaking out of this falling wedge, then yeah, you can say, oh yeah, the falling wedge broke out. But then if it gets rejected for some reason over here, then you're like, oh no, this is actually a descending channel here. And it might get rejected by the 50-day moving average. 50-day moving average is sitting at $21, that green line there. And you got the you got the blue line here at $21.76. That's the 100-day moving average. You could get rejected off those moving averages if you do come back up. And what was your question? You were wondering, you said, you're getting distributions from Misty and you're thinking crypto to India is a better place to put the dividends rather than reinvest in Misty. I would say, yeah, find a crypto that you like that pays dividends. I know me personally, I like Solana because it pays like a 5% dividend yield, or they call it staking rewards. I think you're better off being in Solana than being in this coin, being in this stock here, or this ETF. in my opinion. Right? Because I mean, we've seen Solana is doing fine here, right? Solana is actually making higher lows and higher highs. That's a winning asset in my opinion. You've been winning ever since April. Okay, Solana got down to like $95 and now it's at 208 bucks. And Solana also pays a 5% dividend or staking reward. You will get paid more Solana the longer you own Solana, the longer you stake it. But that asset that you were showing me, Misty, is tracking MicroStrategy. Let's see how MicroStrategy is doing real quick here. And yeah, MicroStrategy had some really good days here back in November of 2024. And it got beat down like a lot of stocks did in March and April this year, only for it to recover. But even MicroStrategy is making higher lows here and trying to make higher highs. I think you're better off being in MicroStrategy than being in Misty. I don't think Misty is a good play, to be honest. It'd be a good play if you're trying to get in now at the lows, but it could go lower than where it is right now. Alright, let's move on to Concentric. See if I can find that on TradingView here. Concentric. Is this a stock? CNXC. Is that the ticker symbol? Give me the ticker symbol for Concentric. So right now I think I found it. It's at, looks like it's trading at $50.32 here. All right, let's see what we can do here with Concentric. Concentric, I see higher lows. That's good to see here. So obviously you're kind of making an uptrend here. Let's see if we can draw that out. Keep doing that. Keep making higher lows. All right. And as you're doing these higher lows, you eventually got yourself back up the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average is sitting at $49.63. And yeah. Get yourself above that and you could be bullish. I would consider you to be bullish if you're above the 50-day movement, 200-day moving average, which you are. However, let's see. This thing has been in a downtrend, a very long, extended downtrend. Oh my God! Starting all the way back here in March of 2022. Jeez. I mean, do I have to draw it out? It's pretty obvious to see in the chart here, but you had that downtrend for the most part like that. Ooh, interesting. You got out of the downtrend. Looks like you got out of the downtrend that you were in for like 3 or 4 years here. You did that around March of 2025, April 2025. And wow, okay. I think some people might have spotted that, breaking the out of the downtrend, and you got a nice move up here on March 27th, up 42% that day. But then you lost it, came back down. But now you can say that you're out of the downtrend. All right, so we're out of the downtrend. That's good news. Okay, you still got this uptrend that's helping you out here. Let me do a Fibonacci now. We'll measure from here down to, we'll call the swing low down at 41 bucks. Was that where we got down to around here? 41 bucks. Yeah. So a normal retracement will put you back here at the 618 golden pocket level of $54. Around $54, $55 is where you can see this thing come back up to before it might get rejected again at that level for some reason. $54 would put you above the 50-day moving average, so that would be nice to see if you get above the 50-day moving average, and you can be more bullish on this asset. And then you do have some possible resistance at $57 here. That's your 0.786 retracement. And I can see, like, yeah, we had some sideways trading here back in June at like $57. That could act as resistance. in the near future. But if you are able to get up to higher prices and get past 62 bucks, then you got the 1272 saying that $68 could be an upside target, and then also $75 could be an upside target. I'll just lock this in for future use here. If you ask about this stock again, we can take a look at the levels on the Fibonacci, see what might come next here. Yeah, that's concentric. And you're welcome, Lloyd. I'm glad I was able to help you make a decision about Misty and maybe getting into another crypto. You know, Solana pays a dividend yield. So does Ethereum and Cardano. Those might be some cryptocurrencies you might want to take a look at that can pay a dividend while also giving you exposure to crypto. Let's see. We got some requests here. Kami wants to look at Apple. And then Smokey wants to look at Theta. Alright. Alright. Hold on a second. Let me write this down. We'll probably do Apple next. And then Theta. And then what else we got here? Mongod B. Did you spell that right, Kami? You have Mongod B. Is that? I don't know what that hell is. Did you meant to say Moondang or something? I don't know. Alright, alright. Okay. Oh, and we have a request for Solana. Oh, we kind of did look at Solana just now. But, yeah, we'll take a look at Solana on the way out. Sure. Alright. Alright, Jack. Yeah, you've been asking for Solana for a while here. I guess, alright, we'll look at Solana first, and then we'll look at Apple. And then we'll look at Theta after that. Yeah. Alright, so let's go back to Solana. Solana currently trading at $208.70 here. Up 2.8% today. Solana's been catching the bids the past few days here. Making higher highs, which is good to see. So it's in a healthy uptrend. You're above the 2-day moving average, so I can be bullish on this asset. And you're also making higher lows. Obviously, you were making higher lows to get yourself to make those higher highs. But what I am a little bit worried with Solana now is you're kind of making a rising wedge, okay? If you're able to see that, guys, here. A rising wedge usually breaks down to the downside here, so we'll see what Solana decides to do here. But I'm expecting Solana to get resistance at the golden pocket level here at 219 to like 225 bucks. I think that's where Solana will probably break down and maybe retest 200 bucks here or $195. That's the 0.5 retracement on $195. I think Solana is making its way up. Let's see, how high did we get today? 216 bucks. That's close to that 219 golden retracement level here, and the golden pocket at 225. So we're getting close to Solana possibly getting a rejection here and going down, maybe down to 200 bucks in my opinion here. Or 195 bucks. I mean, we're at 208 right now, but I think Solana might have a little bit more juice left in the tank to go to higher prices here. Let's see what the RSI looks like for Solana. RSI is at 60, so we do have juice in the tank to go to higher prices. Yeah, MACD, although the buying pressure isn't as strong as it was back here in July, you still are getting some buying pressure. Stochastic RSI is not overbought yet, so you still have juice in the tank to go to higher prices. And then looking at the market cipher B, you did get a green buy dot yesterday on Wednesday saying that you should be buying Solana, and money is going into Solana right now. Let me see if I can get rid of these indicators here real quick. Let me just get rid of some of the stuff. I'm gonna try to pull out the money flow indicator to see what money flow is doing for Solana here. And you see money is going into Solana. You get the green here. Money was leaving Solana back here in June. And of course, you know, back in March and April, money was leaving leaving out of Solana here, but it looks like you're getting a healthy amount of money going into Solana right now. $51 million here on Coinbase Exchange for today. So that's good to see. All right. So yeah, I think as long as money continues to pour into Solana, you'll see Solana get up to like 220, and I think there's going to be a rejection there. It'd be very surprising to see if Solana just slices through the golden pocket and goes up to the 786 retracement. This is that blue level at 253, but it's still a possibility. And I think that's where Solana might finally get some resistance and get knocked down to lower prices here. But I think it's steady as she goes for Solana. I think you're doing quite fine. All right, moving on from Solana, we'll take a look at Apple. We're now looking at Apple, currently trading at $232, up 1% today. And what do we got here for Apple? Oh, you got above the 200-day moving average. Good for you. You did that on Friday, August 8th. Okay, and you kind of almost came down to retest it, but not really. And now you're climbing back up to higher prices here. Okay, good job. Good for you, Apple. All right. Apple did look like it had a bad, March and April. And it hasn't vigorously climbed up like some of these other Magnificent 7 stocks that are out there. Like Nvidia, like Google, Microsoft. I think they've all did better than Apple did the last few months here. But it looks like Apple's finally catching some bids right now. Okay, good to see that. Obviously, you're making higher lows and you're making higher highs. You got past the highs here back in March. Now let's see if Apple can get past the highs here back in February, where you got to like $250. Let's see. I guess I can do a little bit of Fibonacci work here. I'm just gonna measure from this high to this low, see what I get. All right, so Apple, if it continues going up to higher prices, we got a 1272 that says there might be some resistance at $244. But then the 1618 saying $255 is probably going to be some more resistance at that level. And that makes sense because 255 is kind of confluent with what you were doing back here in December of last year when Apple was at 250, 260. So I think that is your take profit target for Apple in the near future going into 2026 here. If Apple decides to lose this momentum and go to the downside here, then you have the 618 golden pocket here at $222, which is confluent with the 200-day moving average at $221. So I think if you're trying to buy some cheaper Apple, you could get some at $220, $222, somewhere in that area. I'm going to go ahead and lock this in. And I think that's your downside target for Apple. These stocks, they don't move as fast and violent as crypto does. So I think we just look at the nearest levels here. The nearest level right now for Apple is actually 227 at that 786 retracement. But I think you might be lucky enough to buy some Apple at 222, and then we'll see if Apple can get up to like 244 later on in 2025. All right. Moving on from Apple, we'll take a look at Theta. Mario wants us to look at Tars AI. Okay. And then Kami says that MongoDB is the name of a database like SQL. And you want me to check out Treehouse? Okay. I guess we can take a look at that. Sure, why not? But let's look at Theta first. Looking at Theta. Theta's currently trading at 80.5 cents here. You got a resistance to the upside. The 200-day moving average could act as a bully. It's at 85, 86 cents here. That'd be a first take profit target if you're day trading it. Okay. But if you get above that 200-day moving average, you would expect us to try to make some higher highs here at some point and get above the high here on August 14th when we got up to like 92 cents. And then try to get above the high here back here in July 21st at that $1.01. But I have marked off a level here already on theta chart. $1.08 seems to be an interesting area where you had a top here back in May. You kind of have some candlewick lows that came down to $1.08, and you also have some resistance at $1.08 back in January 2024. Same thing back here in March of 2023. I think $1.08 is an important level to look at. And if I throw on the VRVP, which is going to be this green and red indicator off to the right, interesting. If I start pulling up some more data here, let's see what I got. Yeah, you got a high volume node here at $1.08. So I think $1.08 is a very important level to look for theta to the upside here. All right, we'll get rid of that indicator now, and we'll zoom back in on theta. I think I'm going to measure a fib from this high here to this low. See what we get for Fibonacci levels here. And to the upside targets, that $1.08 sits in between the dollar high that we made on July, and also the 1.272 Fibonacci extension level at $1.13. So that's the level to look for, and I'll go ahead and lock this chart in so we can use it for later. Then we got the 1618. Could get some resistance at $1.29 for some reason. That could be a level for you to sell your theta. I think you'll be up like 50% if you do on theta, getting up to $1.29 there. Downside targets. You're kind of already trying to maintain support on that 100-day moving average at 78 cents. But you might, get more support here at that that 0.382 level at 73 cents here. And I would say don't lose this low here on August 2nd, where you got as low as 71 cents. Because then the argument becomes more of a bearish argument that you're below the 200-day moving average, you're making lower highs, and you're making lower lows. So don't do that. Don't give the bears more ammunition to be like, this thing is going down in price. Yeah, so don't lose 71 cents. That's your downside target. Alright. You want me to take a look at Tree? And then, let me see if I can find Mongob first. Because you did make that request. Am I able to pull that up on TradingView? Yeah, looks like we have... Oh, it's a stock. It's a corporation on the NASDAQ. What do they do? I'm curious. They're a technology company? Engages in the development and provision of general purpose database platform. The firm's products include... Alright, so it's a database company. Okay. Oh wow, look at that. I'm just looking at the chart for the first time, and this thing just gapped up. How much of a percentage gain was that? This day was trading on Tuesday at it closed the day off at 214. So we just measured from there, and then you gapped up, started opening up for trade the next day at 281. 31% gap up. Oh my god. Okay, Mongob. And then today you were up 7%, and then yesterday you were up 37%. Jesus. But this thing has lots of gaps in the chart here, where it gaps down, and over here in September it gapped up again in November of 2024, came down, then you gapped down in February. So this has got to be like a small market cap, stock here. Market cap, oh wow, no, not really. Market cap is A $25 billion company is acting like a crypto right now. Acting like a small cap. What the? That's interesting. That's interesting. This thing has potential to just gap up and gap down on you. Like, here's another gap up here in May of 2023, and then the gap down here on May of 2024. Oh my god, interesting. I'm just fascinated by this chart. This stock here is just doing gap up and gap downs. You just don't know what you're gonna get, huh? Usually, if it gapped up, probably it's gonna gap down at some point. All right. Anyways, what can I make with this chart here? You're above the 2-day moving average, so good to see that. Okay. Before you got above the 2-day moving average, you were making higher lows here in an uptrend, so you were in an uptrend. That's good to see. It's good. Also good to see that you got past the highs here in February, at like $298. So it's looking pretty positive. You have a high here in December of 370. Interesting. I think I want to throw on the VRVP here and try to figure out what the next price levels might be for this stock here. Fibonacci is it's going to be tough to draw a Fibonacci. I could draw from here to here, but you're already above that, so let's just do VRVP for now. VRVP is showing the highest volume node here. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. Highest volume node is your point of control, that blue line at $206. You're above it, so you could consider yourself to be overvalued, possibly. You'll be even more overvalued if you get up to this value area high, that white line at 339. So I think 339 could be your first take profit target if you haven't taken profits yet. There could be some resistance at that level, because this is a level that people were buying this stock here in April 2024, and they were buying it in October 2023. Those people will be back to break even, and if they don't want to be involved on the stock, they're probably going to click the sell button when the thing gets up to like 339, 340. And then you got some more high volume here at 367 and 392. So yeah, between like 340 and 415, going to be a tough area to get past for the stock. And you could get rejected off that value area high at 340. Come right back down to, you might get some support at 291 here. So I would use the VRVP indicator trying to trade this stock in the in the future here. I think the VRVP indicator is going to be helpful, because you don't really have much to go on with the moving averages. You can't use the moving average. All the moving averages are now below you now. So I would start using the VRVP to help analyze what to do with this stock here. And this thing, I think it might be on its way up to that value area high, $360. And also this high volume node here at 390. Yeah. All right. That's how do you say that? Mongo. Let's go ahead and take a look at TARS AI, and then we'll take a look at Tree. And then John wants to look at Pepe. All right. TARS AI. Crypto. There we go. TARS AI on Mexi Exchange. TARS AI currently trading at 6 cents, down, up 3% today. And I got some previous chart work here. I have a "You shall not pass." Okay, so all right. So with TARS AI, I already done previous chart work on this thing. Let me get rid of the VRVP for now. Do not lose 6 cents, or to be exact, do not lose 0.058 pennies here. Because it could be bad news bears, a lot of bearish action. You could go down to like 2 cents in no time here if you lose that level. TARS AI can start catching some bids here. You could get some resistance on that 100-day moving average sitting at almost 8 pennies. And then you got the 200-day moving average at 8.5 pennies. Could act as resistance going forward to the upside here. Yeah, downside, do not lose 6 pennies, which you're kind of already at right now. It's slightly above it, but you're staying alive, just barely here. I think that's it for now, you know, for TARS AI. I have another level that was interesting for us to look at for TARS AI. That's 16.5 cents. That's a level that we got as high. We hit the candlewick high there in May at 16.5 cents. This is a 16.5 cent level, has also acted as resistance back in July of 2024 and May of 2024, and it acted as support here around February of 2025. So I think 16 cents is another level to look out for TARS AI. And now that I zoomed out here, I'll throw on the VRVP, see if there's any other levels to look for. Yeah, your point of control at 8 cents. So I think 8 cents, pretty important level. It's going to be a lot of resistance at that level. But then if you get past 8 and 9 cents, you get a drop in the VRVP, and then you get a little bit of resistance at 11 cents. And then the volume drops off again, and then you're going to get resistance at like 15, 16 cents here. And I think 15, 16 cents should be a good target for TARS AI, because you'll double your money, almost tripling your money from where it's at right now. And you should be happy. Call it a day. Call it a good year. And see if you can do it with another asset. Alright, moving on from TARS AI, we'll take a look at... did we look at Tree? We look at Tree and then Pepe, right? Yeah, Tree and then Pepe. Treehouse on Coinbase. Coinbase doesn't have that much data on it. Let's take a look at Binance. Binance has not as much data on it either, so it's like, which one do I want to use? Maybe I'll do a Mexi. See, Mexi's almost the same thing. Alright, so what do you want me to do with this asset here? This thing is in a falling wedge. I don't have any moving averages besides the 21 EMA to work off of here. 21 EMA is sitting at 36 cents. It's like below you. This thing jumped up today for some reason. Went up 29% today. It's like a little bit of a scam wick right there. I don't know what to do with this for chart here. Since we did this today, I guess we could do a Fibonacci. You have a golden pocket level above you at 50 cents. Could be resistance in that area. Right now you're at 40 cents. You're slightly below the 0.382 and you're above the 0.236. 0.236, you could get some support there at 36 cents. And that's all I can really do with this thing. Yeah, I can't do much analysis. This thing hasn't been around long enough for moving averages to give me any support. And this was in a falling wedge and it broke out to the upside, and now you can do a Fibonacci retracement to see how far it's going to pull back, and you might end up pulling back to that 0.236 level. I would start putting in the buy orders in at 36 cents, and that's it. That's all I can do for this. Anything else would be gravy if you can get back up to 65 cents. Yeah, we got up to like 65 cents earlier today. Alright, moving on from Treehouse, we'll take a look at Pepe. Tree's a new project. That makes sense. Yeah, there's not much analysis I can do if it's a brand new project. There's not that much data I can use to do technical analysis. But that's as best as I could do there. I did a Fibonacci for you, and that's all I can really do. Alright, Pepe currently trading at 1,000. Just barely holding on to dear life here with the 200-day moving average. Also at 1,000. So Pepe is confused as to whether it's going to be bullish or bearish here. If we lose 1,000, then we got to be bearish on Pepe, and Pepe could come down to this 0.236 level at 789. Alright. That's your downside target for Pepe, 789. Upside target, let's see if we get above the 50-day moving average at 1145. And then we can work our way up to that golden pocket at 1200. And then, yeah, if we can get past 1200, then we can start making higher highs here and then try to contest the highs here back here in July when we got up to like 1475 here. But you got some work you need to do here with Pepe. You got to get above these moving averages. Get above the 50-day moving average. That would make a lot of people happy to see Pepe do that. And then for the Fibonacci traders, they're going to want to see Pepe get up to like 1200. All right. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. I think we're about to finish off this live stream here. And we usually like to finish off with Bitcoin. I think that's going to be it for this live stream, but let's finish. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin currently trading at 112,500. Bitcoin is doing its best to try to stay above this 50-day moving average, this green line here. That's at 111,700. I would like to end the day above 111,700. And I feel like more money will pour into Bitcoin if that's the case. If we lose that 50-day moving average, we could be heading down the lower prices here. And this could signify that we're still in a downtrend for Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin goes lower prices, you know, we might revisit 108K area, that 0.382 retracement. And if we lose that area, then we got $104,000, $105,000. The 100-day moving average, that blue line is at $105,000. That could be the next support area for Bitcoin, and it's also where this 0.236 retracement is at. So that is the next level down below 108K if Bitcoin loses 108K. But if Bitcoin can start catching some bids here and stay above the 50-day moving average, then the next resistance is going to be the golden pocket at 114, 115K. And then we'll see if Bitcoin can get up to the 786 retracement at 118,900, or basically 119K. But these are the levels that we're looking for, the Fibonacci levels here. And also we got moving averages that could provide us the support. And also resistance. Right now the 21 EMA is above us at 115,800, which would put us right where the golden pocket's at. So we want to get that golden pocket. We want that as our next level to try to reclaim here for Bitcoin. Let's get up to 114, 115K. Make people feel a little bit better about getting into Bitcoin and getting into crypto. Okay. And I think that's going to be it for today, guys. I will see you tomorrow. It's going to be tough. I have some things I got to do in the morning, which is going to take my time and energy away from doing a live stream here. So if I do a live stream tomorrow, you might catch me around this time, or it might be later on Friday, like around like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Okay? We'll see how I feel. But yeah, if for some reason I don't go live, then just plan on seeing me again on Monday around this time, same time, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. Okay? Take care, guys, and good luck investing and trading in whatever asset you decide to get into, whether that's stocks or crypto. Take care.